Okay, welcome back. We are on day 2 of LEP5. So make sure to do all the software up until this point so you're ready to go for the next one. So here we're going over equivalent ratios. So if we look at the do now, who's right, Becca and Kim found different answers to the same problem. So the ratio of park rangers to square miles of a nature reserve is 3 to 12. So this is park rangers to square miles. What area is covered by 9 park rangers? So that's our question. So here we want to find the multiplicative relationship between park rangers and square miles. So the square miles is equal to the park rangers, or the number of park rangers, times how much. So this is our multiplicative relationship that we found before. So here, if there's 12 square miles for 3 park rangers, well, 3 times what number is 12? We can think about 12 divided by 3 is 4. So that's how they both got 4 here, 12 divided by 3. Well, the relationship between park rangers is square miles, is that park rangers times 4 is the number of square miles, right? So now we answer the question, what area is covered by 9 park rangers? So now, if there's 9 park rangers, 9 times 4 is the square miles. So 9 times 4 is 36. So there should be 36 square miles, and Kim is the correct, did the correct work. So here, this is Kim. So here, the ratio of rangers to square miles is, when there's 9 rangers. So here we got 9 to 36 square miles. Okay. Moving on to the vocabulary part, we have y-intercept, x-intercept, and origin. Okay, so I'm going to make an axis so I don't have to keep drawing it. So here, this is my x-axis, this is my y-axis. So for the first one, a point where a graph crosses the horizontal axis. So here, this is the horizontal axis. It's a point on there. And we call that the x-intercept because it crosses the x-intercept. So here, this is B, x-intercept. And the y-coordinate is 0 here. So it's like, 3, 0. That is our x-intercept because it intercepts the x-axis, right? And then the point, next one, the point in the coordinate plane where the x and the y-axis intersect. So where they intersect is right here. And that is our origin with the point of 0, 0. So that is C. And then last but not least, A should be our y-intercept, or A should be here. A point where the graph crosses the vertical axis. 0 is the coordinate of the y-intercept. So here, this is the y-intercept. 0, we'll say 5 here, or 0. It's typically B in the equation y equals mx plus b. And so that's what it says there. So this is our y-intercept. It intersects the y-axis. So we have x and y intercepts, and then we have our origin is right in the middle. Okay? So let's move on to the next lesson. If you have any questions on that, go ahead and pause this video and contact me or your teacher, and I'm sure they can help you. Okay, so model ratios. Let's look at the worked example. The ratio of green homes to regular homes sold is 3 to 2. So this is green to regular. If a real estate agent sells 80 regular homes, how many green homes does he sell? Okay, so we want to look at green to regular. Let's go ahead and model this. We have 3 parts green to 2 parts regular. That's modeling this ratio 3 to 2. And then it says if a real estate agent sells 80 regular, so in regular, if there's 80 here, each piece, ultimately we want to find out how much is here if this is 80. But each piece of this 80, if 2 pieces are equal to 80, each piece is 40. And so here up here is 40 as well. And so if regular is 80, green would be 40 3 times, or 3 times 40 is 120. So the agent sells 120. So that's how we would do those ones. Let's go ahead and try this one. The ratio of oil to sand in a sample from the ocean is 3 cc to 8 cc. If a sample contains 360 cc of oil, how much sand does it have? Okay, so here they modeled 3 to 8. This is our 3 parts oil to 8 parts sand. So that's what that is. Oil to sand is 3 to 8. Or this is the oil and this is the sand. So here, if the sample contains 360 cc of oil, so this is 360. How much sand does it have? So we want to find out how much this is. So if this is 360 oil, these 3 parts should be each 120. I know that because 360 divided by 3 is 120. So each piece here is 120. If all of these were 120, all of them, this would be 120 times what? How many pieces? There's 8. So that's 960. So all of that would be 960. Okay, so that's how you do these questions. Let's go ahead and see what the next page is. These are the practice pages. So go ahead and pause this video here and complete these questions. Once you're done with that, let's go ahead and move on to lesson 5, generate equivalent ratios. Okay, so the worked example, the ratio of a compost to garden soil is 5 to 4. So compost to garden soil, 5 is compost, 4 parts garden soil. If there are 15 ounces of compost, how many ounces of garden soil are there? So here we have this ratio. This ratio is modeling 5 parts compost to 4 parts garden soil. And so here, that's what we start with, 5 to 4. And we make our little table. There's 5 parts compost, 4 parts garden soil. And now we see if there are 15 ounces of compost, how many ounces of garden soil are there? So here we put under compost, we put 15. We want to fill in what this would be. So 5 times 3 is 15. So 4 times, we have to change in equal amounts. So 4 times 3 is 12. So this was like before. I wrote it as 5 to 4 and 15 to what? And I did the same thing here. This is times 3. This should be times 3, and that's 12. So that's how I did it above before. But making a table is much more organized, right? And so that's how they get 12 here. We can also double check using the previous lesson, how we did it on the previous lesson. If this was 12, each part would be 3, right? And so if each part is 3 up here, the total number of compost would be 15. So that's like the previous lesson, what we did there. Okay, so let's go ahead and try it. So now we have the ratio of wool to cotton that Cole, a sustainable designer, uses is 8 to 4. So this is wool to cotton, and they have it illustrated down below. So if Cole has 24 grams of wool, how many grams of cotton does he need? So if he has 24 here, how many here? So let's go ahead and make our table. Wool to cotton. So 8 to 4. So first we start off with our given ratio, 8 to 4. And we fill in what we know. So we're given 24 grams of wool. So 24 grams of wool. And then how many cotton? So now we find the multiplier. That's what it's called. So 8 times 3, this is our multiplier. 4 times 3, that's 12. So if he has 24 grams of wool, he will need 12 grams of cotton. And then we can double check. 24 divided by 8, that's 3 each. And so these parts would be 3 as well. So that would be 3 times 4 is 12. So always double checking your work. It's a good, nice idea. Okay, so go ahead and pause this video and complete the practice section on lesson 5. Okay, so the last lesson of this day is an algebra lesson. So here I can graph functions based on their intercepts. So remember in the vocabulary for today, we had x and y intercepts and we had the origin. So we're going to be focusing on our x and y intercepts and using those to help us graph. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the try it. Since there's more guided learning on this section, you can review the worked example on your own if you need it. Okay. So here, a camper needs 900 kilowatts of electricity for his next trip. He can use solar power generator that creates 450 kilowatts or his gas power generator that creates 150. The equation 150x plus 450y is equal to 900 shows the possible ways that he can use both his generators to power his trip. Graph the equation using the intercepts. Okay. So first we have to find both the x and y separately. So x and y intercepts. So remember when we have the x-intercept, that's when y is 0. And vice versa, if we have the y-intercept, that's where x is 0. So we set, to solve for the x-intercept, we set y equal to 0. And this is finding the x-intercept. And then this would be finding the y-intercept. So sometimes questions ask, find the x-intercept. Well, find the x-intercept is just setting y to 0 and solving for x, okay? So doing that, 450 times 0 goes away. I'm left with 150 times x is equal to 900. Okay, so 150 times x, the opposite of multiplying by 150 is dividing by 150. So I divide by 150 on both sides to get x alone. That goes away. X is equal to 900 divided by 150. 900 divided by 150, 6. So x is equal to 6. So that is our first point. That is our x-intercept. Solving for y now. 150 times 0, that goes away. Now I'm left with 450y is equal to 900. Do the same thing, divide by 450. So 900 divided by 450. That's 2, so 0, 2. This is our y-intercept. And we only need 2 points to graph a line. So we have 6, 0 over here. 0, 2 over here. Here's my 2 points, and then I connect them using, you can use the tools on Kami to make it straighter, but essentially that's what our graph looks like. Okay, so all we're doing is setting one of the variables, x or y, to 0 and solving for the other. Then we get those 2 points and we graph them on our equation, on our graph. Okay, so go ahead and pause this video and do this now. And then we'll come back and I'll review these two and then leave you to the practice section. Okay, so here we have this equation, and let's go ahead and plug in y equal to 0 and solve for x. So 120 times x plus 80, y is now 0. So 120x, 80 times 0 goes away, is equal to 480. Divide by 120. So here x is equal to 4. So x is equal to 4 when y is equal to 0. So 4, 0 is my x-intercept. So if you have it set up right, you might, and you still didn't get the right answer, you might have done some algebra wrong. So go ahead and let me know if you're struggling on that part, and we could meet one-on-one, and I'll help you through that. Okay, so solving for y, we set x is equal to 0. So when we set x is equal to 0, we get 120. Instead of x, we have 0 plus 80 times y. So again, that goes away. So I have 80 times y is equal to 480. Basically, when we solve for a variable, we have to do the opposite. So what's happening to y, we're multiplying by 80. The opposite of multiplying by 80 is dividing by 80. So we divide by 80. We do the opposite of what's happening to the variable, and we have to do it on both sides. So here, y, because that goes away, y is equal to 6 here. So when y is 6, x is 0. So we have our y-intercept here. And let's go ahead and graph these two. So we have 4, 0, 0, 6. And then we have our nice line. Okay. So you should have got that line for this one. Moving to the next question. Let's see here. We have this equation, 9x plus 15, or 18y is equal to 54. So here we solve for x, setting y to 0. I'll use a different, I'll just use black. So 9x plus 18, y is now 0, so 18 times 0 is 54. 9x, that's going away, so 9x is equal to 54. We divide by 9 on both sides, get rid of that 9 on that side, we get x is equal to 6. So 6, 0 is our x-intercept. And then solving for our y-intercept, we have 9 times 0 plus 18 times x. So again, when we solve for y, we're solving for the y-intercept by setting x is equal to 0. Oh, wait. X. Oh, I just wrote x here. I meant y. Okay. And so 9 times 0, that goes away. So I'm left with 18 times y is equal to 54. What's the opposite of multiplying by 18? Dividing by 18. So that goes away. Y is equal to 54 divided by 18. That's 3. So here, when x is 0, so when x is 0, y is 3. So 0, 3. So here my x-intercept is 6, 0. That's 6, 0. And then 0, 3 is right here. And then we make our little line. Let's see if I can do this straight. Oop. Cool. Okay. Nice little lines. So whenever we have something in standard form, what standard form is of an equation is where x and y are on one side of the equation. So we have a times x plus b times y is equal to c. And this is A, B, and C are real numbers. Any numbers. So when we have something in standard form like this, we want to try to find our x and y intercepts by using this method, plotting the 2 points, and then connecting them. Okay. Awesome job. So go ahead and pause this video. Actually, this is the last lesson. So complete this practice section. If you have trouble, please meet with me. The schedule's on Classroom. You can also email me, text me, call me at any time. And then complete this exit ticket as well. I do want to go over day 2's software. So let's go to Classroom. And check out the software. So Algebra Intensive. The software is right on the stream right here. We're in LEP 5, so go to that tab. So day 2 is topic 3, lesson 1, topic 3, lesson 2. So just the next 2 lessons, complete those in software, and then I will meet you back here for day 3 of LEP 5. So awesome job. Remember to do all the software and the packet